At risk of labouring the Mario point, could we just ask you what he has said about it? You asked him, he's presumably saying it was accidental.
Yeah. You
talked about the futility of possibly appealing to the frivolous aspects of it. I mean, the FA appealed Wayne Rooney's suspension with UEFA for kicking someone in the back of the leg. So on that basis, how could they accuse you of being frivolous for something a 28-year-old player for?
Well, you said it, I didn't.
Well, is that a fact that you can't?
Listen, I mean, it's futile me complaining about a system, or us complaining about a system, or us looking at inconsistencies. The whole thing, when you strip it down to its bare facts, it has no benefit for us at this moment in time, in terms of going forward, in terms of winning a semi-final of a Carling Cup. To get to the final, in terms of making sure that we amass enough points in the next 16 games in the Premier League to make sure that we're still top of the pile come the end of May, and making sure that we have a good go at winning the Europa League as well. They're the three trophies that we're currently in for, and they're the three trophies that we will have a right good go at to make sure that we win them. But there's not much point, I don't think, in me getting into that argument. If when this adventure even when this adventure for me finishes and I decide to go into that line, then I can give you a better comment. But at the moment, it's a path that there's not much point me going down that road. It's futile.
But you said that you thought, however, that was your opinion, you'd seen the incident. Why do you think then he's changed his mind, given if you saw it at the time?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
We're all allowed our opinions. Because that's where we are today, because of our opinions. It is my opinion that Howard saw the incident. But I'm not questioning him. If he hasn't, and that's what he said, then he hasn't. But we have to take that at face value. But equally, if I follow that to its logical conclusion, then I have to take Mario's claim that he didn't do it intentionally at face value as well. They are all opinions. But the opinions count for nothing, because I can't change the main opinion. And the main opinion is that it was something that warranted a red card, and therefore it's retrospectively been given as a red card. And thus he has a 3-game suspension, plus the one because he's already been sent off before, and it's 4 games. They are the facts, and my opinion can't change those facts.
So when you talk about inconsistencies, are you referring perhaps to Peter Crouch?
No. No, I mean, I just think that there's enough out there, that's all. I think there's... and I don't think it's right to talk about other players really, other teams' players, you know.
But it wasn't the only incident at the weekend.
I think if you pull every incident over every weekend, you'll find enough. But it all comes under Law 12, so shouldn't it therefore be revisited under Law 12?
Dave, could you just expand on what Mario's said to you?
I haven't said anything to me. I just picked it up that he doesn't think he's done something intentionally.
Yeah. So what he's saying, he's trying to keep.
I don't know. You'd have to speak to him.
Right.
Do you think he might feel possibly victimised though by
who?
Mario, by the FA, by the
I don't know. Again, we're getting into you're asking me questions that I don't know.
Do you get a sense that he might be, because
Well, no, you're still asking me a question. You just rephrased it in a different way with all due respect. But I can't. It's only an opinion.
But he's a kid in a foreign country. He equally he sees maybe because all the, he's facing the ban. He's had 3 red cards since the period. Do you get the impression that he feels that?
I don't get any impression. I get the impression I get is that we must focus on our games with the players that we have at our disposal. If we were to appeal, as I say, I've already been there. I don't think we would win that appeal. I think it's against you to win it in the first place anyhow. So therefore, the likelihood is that we'll be without Mario for the next 4 games. But there's more than 4 games to go. He is a player for Manchester City. When he comes back into the fold and is at our disposal again, then we will utilise him to help achieve what we want to achieve this season.
Does Roberto think there's double standards here for the play, especially with the Rooney thing? That's what
I don't know. You'll have to ask him.
You've obviously spoken about that.
Does he think it's not double standards? Nobody's talking about double standards. People are talking about a system.
Yeah. But if the FA can go to such lengths to try and get Rooney off something that was equally as, or possibly even worse.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's a system. I mean, all I've done here. I mean, I haven't brought this to the fore. You're hitting me with things now that I believe you think.
But do you not think, with the resources managers at Manchester City have, they tested the project, is that you should be able to go to Anfield without Mario Balotelli, without Vincent Kompany and win. And you'd be expected to do that.
I haven't said anything different. I've said that I believe that we haven't got at this moment in time. What we've got is a group of players in there that I believe are capable of going to Anfield tomorrow and turning round a game and turning around a semi-final. Now, I haven't said that I've got a group of players in there and if we had Mario and if we had Vincent, so I've answered your question before.
No, I'm saying looked at from outside. People would say,
Sorry.
whether Mario Balotelli plays or not, whether Vincent Kompany plays or not.
Well, that's what I've just said.
Is strong, should be strong enough, deep enough, and good enough to go to Anfield and win. Because that's the test of it.
Did somebody read my copy back? Because that's what I've just said.
No. So you agree with that?
Well, I just said it a while ago.
What did Sunday's result do for you? Because, you know, there'd been a little bit of a wobble recently, people were doubting you, and it's a massive result in the end, wasn't it?
Well, I'm not too sure where the wobble comes in the Premier League, but if you look at the form tables that we do in England, we take the last 6 games as a form table. If you looked at that form table over the last 6 games, and I didn't know this, a mate of mine, a City fan, brought this to my attention because he'd read the perception of the wobble, he'd read the stuff about the crisis, he'd seen the pundits, etc., etc. That was by virtue of a semi-final defeat against Liverpool at home, and the FA Cup game, and I think that's where that perception had come from. But people didn't look at the statistics. In that, the form table over the last 6 games going into Sunday, the team at the top of that form table was Manchester City with 13 points out of 6 games. Tottenham and Manchester United had 12 each. They are statistics that you can make to look to fit whatever your argument you want to do. But it's very, very dangerous, I think, to start getting into a perception of a wobble, etc., etc. So I don't think that we thought that there was a wobble. I don't think that we thought that there was a crisis, but other people may well have done outside of that. What did it do for us? Again, great result, massive victory. Puts more daylight between you and one of the title contenders that still remain a title contender. What does it do for you? Keeps you 3 points in front of Manchester United because they went down to the Emirates and got an exceptional result. And people will look at it and say, you know, Arsenal are not in a great run of form. United, you know, Van Persie missed a couple of chances, etc., etc. The cold light of day, Manchester United went down to the Emirates in a very, very difficult tie and took 3 points. We took 3 points against Tottenham, and that's where we are. We have to. There'll be all sorts of opinion, all sorts of people reading into things, I think, between now and the end of the season. And when I sat here last week, I spoke about the same things, that it's very, very difficult to keep us and our actions and whatever we do off the back pages with people writing it in a manner that they want to write it and with people opinionating in a manner that they want to opinionate. But the cold facts remain the cold facts. And that's what we have to focus on.
Thinking of a change maybe in the back four, Richards moving into centre half, Savic has made 1 or 2 errors, is that a thought?
I think that one thing was, no. We'll have a look at what we've got available and we'll pick a team to go to Anfield and try and get a result. I mean, Stefan, I thought his general play on Sunday was very, very good. You know, he's tried, I think, in a positive fashion. I think the errors he's made that you look at, he's made in a very, very positive fashion. A player that people will level out and say is responsible for the goal, and you know we're responsible as a whole team for a goal. It was a poor goal that we gifted Tottenham. If he hadn't have headed it, would Defoe have got onto the end of it anyhow? I don't know. What pleased us about the situation was that the player still had enough personality that in the last minute of a game, rather than just hoofing a ball upfield, when it came back to him there in the last few minutes because we were trying to win the game, he actually went to control it to be able to retain possession and to be able to have a go at winning it. And I think that shows great personality for a player that's only 20 years of age.
Was it inevitable, perhaps, that there would be a few mistakes from his age and not particularly used to?
I don't think it's a few mistakes. As I said, we've been delighted with him since he's come into the place. I think, you know, he's flicked in at right back, he's played at centre half, and I think he's shown great personality. We're delighted with him. He is 20 years of age, got great experience, getting more experience under his belt. And doesn't get fazed by errors that happen on a football pitch, that happen to all sorts of players, whether they be experienced or not.
just going back to Mario, though, do you think the perception of him or the image that he has is in danger of harming his career in this country or the club in the long term?
I think there's obviously a perception around him, and he commands column inches, and that's something that is going to be with him throughout his career. So therefore, he has to handle it.
Do you think if he keeps on
I don't know. I mean, we're going into thinking opinions. As I said, for me, my opinions count very, very little, other than you asking me for them. But all it does is create headlines, and it never gets away from what the total facts are.
So if he has an image and he keeps getting cards and balls,
Again, it's we all have opinions on things, but for what? Really, he's just got to. It's there. It's something that's there for him. It's been there for players in the past. They have to deal with it.